You've just acquired your franchise. It's an exciting time. You're counting down to that open date, or you might have opened already. How can you set up your franchise to be profitable? So, oftentimes, when it comes to franchising, persons often don't realize that it's a different way of operating a business. And you have to be able to understand certain areas in your franchise so that you're keeping your eyes on those areas so that you are profitable. And one of the key there's several things to keep your eyes on to set up to ensure that you're en route to be profitable. And we don't have the time today to go over everything. I'll talk about a few, and then I'll probably do another live popping up as the demand is. So one of the first things, you have to keep your eyes on the cost of your franchise, the cost of operating it. And depending on the franchise model, it's not keeping your eyes on the royalties, keeping your eyes on advertising. It's not keeping your eyes on rent. There's sometimes you have to pay rent or lease costs back to the franchisor, head office. It's keeping your eyes on those direct costs that impact the operation of your franchise directly. So, for example, labor. You got to keep your eyes on the labor costs. What does that mean? It's not just looking at, okay, these are the hours that persons are working. I got to monitor the hours. It's deeper than that. It's looking at the efficiencies of your labor, of your team. So you want to ensure that your team is being efficient. They are effective. So you might say, okay, it's such a busy time. I need to have 10 persons. When in reality, you could increase efficiencies and still have a team of 8 persons. So again, it's keeping your eyes on those costs that directly impact your profit. And these costs also impact your profit in a deeper way than, for example, office supplies or, let's say, try to find another insurance cost. You got to keep your eyes on those costs that directly impact your profit. So labor cost, that's one of them. The other one is the cost of your supplies, of your raw materials. Let's say you're in a restaurant, it's going to be those costs that impact your producing that meal. So for example, food costs, that is a huge one. Keep your eyes on the food costs. So again, food cost is wide. You got to keep your eyes on ordering. You got to keep your eyes on wasting. There's so many things that impact food costs. So you want to ensure that you're keeping your eyes on those costs that directly impact your profits. So food costs, you want to make sure you're not over ordering. You don't have under ordering as well. You want to keep your eyes on the wastage. Portioning. I'm going to do a separate video or a post on over portioning. Over portioning, a lot of persons, you don't realize the impact of over portioning. So this is the standard amount, and you say, okay, I'll top it up a little bit for this person. They want a little extra here. It does add up. So again, these are some ways in which you set up your franchise to be profitable, keeping your eyes on the cost, and even more than keeping your eyes on the cost, ensuring that the system, the process that you have to monitor, manage your costs is effective. So you want to have a system, a process where you will know if you have too many persons on your team. You'll know if they're not performing. You're keeping your eyes on the labor cost ratio, not just the labor cost. You got to keep your eyes on the labor cost ratio. It's always comparing to something else. It's one thing to say, oh, I have this amount for labor. You got to compare to what your sales are, because your labor directly will impact your sales. And also you want to keep your eyes on those food costs. And, the types of costs will differ depending on the franchise you have. Basically, it's just those direct costs that are impacting your delivery of that product or service. It's going to be slightly different for each type of franchise, the business you have. However, direct costs are just direct costs. Those costs that impact your profits, your gross profit it's going to be just the same principle. The type of cost may be different. However, the principle is always the same. So again, congrats on having your franchise. Congrats on this exciting journey, take that other step to set up your franchise to be profitable, set it up to be successful, not having losses and losses and losses, setting up your franchise to be profitable impacts so many other areas of, your franchise operation. It impacts so many things. And that's why it's so important to keep your eyes on those costs, be aware of them, and how you manage them is also very, very important. You're going to need a team that understands the implications of managing these costs, and your team is equipped. There's some persons who they don't understand that, okay, if I overportion, it's not a big deal, or it's just some extra sauce, or it does add up. And educating your team is another way that is going to help you to be profitable, allowing your team to understand the implications of decisions. Oftentimes, I see where as a CEO, entrepreneur, business owner, you're operating the business, fine. However, your team is not clear. They don't understand, why is this done? Why is this not done? So educating your team as well, training them is going to be important so they understand the implications of decisions. So signing off, do remember the importance of setting up your franchise to be profitable. There's several ways. I just touched on a few today. Also, do remember to share this broadcast out. If you found value in this information, repost, share, put your comments in the chat as well. If you have a question or something else to add, feel free to go ahead and share in the comments. And if you want to talk to me further, of course, I do invite you to step into my direct messages, send me a message, and I'll be happy to continue the conversation. Signing off in 3, 2, 1. Bye, everyone.